and welcome to Cole Red Plays Raid Shadow Legends. I apologize for the audio quality. It is me. It is not you, because I am still on holiday and I do not have my full setup, but I will be returning home just a couple of days. So once I get back there and I have my nice microphone, my audio quality should return to normal. Now, today is Monday, and typically on Mondays we do a weekly planning video, but I want to talk about the fact that I'm going to be changing up the format to our weekly Monday videos. There are a couple of reasons for this. The previous format, the current format, has been focused primarily on reminders and a few tactical considerations for getting the most out of your week in raid. But that's fairly repetitive because every week there's some variation, but not a lot. We come back to the same timers, the same reminders, the same considerations. And so I feel like at this point, if you've been watching those videos, you should have a pretty good grasp of what you need to consider in every week. I will still be doing the reminders because I do think it's good to take a day somewhere in your week, look at the week ahead, and plan how to get the most out of your week in raid. So I still want to do that. So if you're here for that, don't worry, that will be at the end of the video. However, I think each week in raid can be a little bit different. There are news announcements that come out. There are changes to the game. Could be patch notes or introductions of new champions or one-off events. So we're going to take the opportunity on Mondays to look at one or two of those types of events or occurrences and examine how that's going to impact your week in raid. Now, luckily, this is the first week we're doing this new format, and there are a couple of really good topics we're going to be talking about in this video, and hopefully that will provide more value to more players. I would appreciate it if you, throughout the course of this video, would let me know in the comments below if there are changes that you like or dislike to the format, so that we can continue to improve the format of this weekly planning video. Okay, thanks so much for all of that. Now, let's get started. Just a quick announcement. My normal live stream, which happens Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, is canceled for this week. Unfortunately, my travel plans will not allow me to be available during that time. However, I will reschedule that live stream for later in the week, either Thursday or Friday, most likely. I will let you know through an announcement in Discord when I've decided on the final schedule. Now, this may be an opportunity for those of you who can't typically make my Tuesday live stream to catch a live stream actually live as opposed to through a VOD and get your chance to win your free account takeover. So I hope to see a lot of you there. Again, watch the Discord for that scheduling announcement. And as always, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and consider joining our Discord community. Thanks for all the support. Now let's get back to the video. Okay, the first event that I want to talk about this week is this summon pool event that is going on right now for the next 4.5 days. These events occur frequently. Anytime you see this kind of rainbow glow in the portal, you've got a summon pool event where you need prism shards. And the only way to get prism shards, there are very limited ways. This really is an event for spenders, but for us free-to-play players and low spenders, you can still get some value out of here. And I think it starts with understanding whether or not the pool of champions is worth investing in. So let's start by taking a look at this week's pool of champions. Okay, so as you can see, this is a Defender's summon pool. Most of these champions have either an ally protection or an increased defense or a strengthen or a block damage buff. Looks like we also have a couple of, well, we have at least one unkillable champion and maybe a healer and some decreased attack champions. So a lot of defensiveness here, some tanky champions. We do have unique champions like Seeker. We have an ally attacker like Morag, who also brings a strength and buff. So some cool champions here. As a pool, I think all of these champions are actually very good. There isn't a single bad champion in this pool. There is some variation in how valuable some champions can be compared to others. One champion I really like here is Gaiath the True Shield. This is a relatively new legendary in the Knights Revenants faction. One of the things I like about her is that I think she pairs up with Wixwell really well for an Infinity comp. She is, in fact, a buff extender. So before attacking, increases duration of all ally buffs. And then the damage inflicted by the skill increases by 5% for each buff that had its duration increased. So another defensive-based buff extender, which fits really well with Wixwell Infinity comps for Clan Boss. So I think that is a great pairing. And if you happen to get lucky enough to get Gaiath, I think you're going to want to investigate putting her and Wixwell together. As far as the rest of the champions are concerned, I mean, some of my favorites, obviously, Mishinaki is absolutely fantastic. We've got Helicath, really great block damage champion. As far as the epics are concerned, we have that unique Seeker. We have the ally attack. We also have a really good, I don't know what you would call him. I guess he's a decreased defense and attack champion. He's kind of like a stagnate, right? Duke the Pierce has a decreased attack and decreased defense. But he's also got this provoke that is just placed so it can't weak hit. That means it is affinity friendly. Can be good in places like Hydra. So some really good champions here. I think as a mid-game player or a free-to-play or low spender, this is a worthwhile summoning portal event to consider because the pool is so good. There are no losers in this batch unless you just happen to pick up a champion you've already built. That would always be kind of the downside. But with epic empowerment, that means that any champion you pull here, even one that you've already built, could still potentially have value for your account. So I do think it is a good pool. Not as sexy as some of like the high damage pools that we've seen before or some of the really specialized support pools that we've seen. But this may be, in terms of quality, one of the best summoning pool events I've actually seen in several months. Now, the second thing you want to consider when you're trying to figure out if you're going to invest in a summon pool event is where the prism shards are coming from. So we actually have a pretty good setup for this week. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Plarium Play calendar of events here. Okay, so as you can see, there are 3 events currently listed where there are prism shards as rewards. There's a Soul Chase tournament. I don't think this Soul Chase tournament is a great place to get prism shards unless you happen to spend money on soul stones. I think you'd rather pull your soul stones during a ×2 event. So you can decide for yourself whether or not it's worth pulling soul stones. I will not be pulling soul stones for this. Now, the more normal event is an Ice Golem tournament here. You can see it says with special rules. For this tournament, you're tasked with beating the Ice Golem with a limited pool of champions. You can be limited to rares only, a set faction, a faction of your choosing, or even champions from one alliance. I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think that the announcement was that this is going to be epics only. I think that's what we're still doing, the epics only tournaments. We still have to cover each of the dungeons. We did Fire Knight, and now I'm pretty sure this is going to be Ice Golem. But you will know tomorrow. Today is Monday the 24th, so the event starts tomorrow. You can check out what the special rules are. Now, Ice Golem is not a highly popular dungeon, but maybe the addition of this tournament and the Prism Crystals would make it a little bit more appealing for those of you who maybe wouldn't farm Ice Golem normally. There's also a Dungeon Divers event going on that can be done in conjunction with the Ice Golem tournament. So you really are getting like a quadruple dip here because you're doing the Ice Golem tournament, the Dungeon Divers event, you're getting the Prism Shards for the Summoning Pool event, and of course, you're getting your artifact and silver drops from the Ice Golem itself. Now, typically, this is a fairly significant investment in terms of energy. We do have a new fusion that is likely to be announced later in this week, so you do want to consider that. But if you maybe skip this past fusion, you've got a lot of energy burning a hole in your pocket, maybe from the last CVC or something like that, you could spend it in the Ice Golem tournament here and get yourself at least 1, if not 2, pulls of Prism Shards from that Summon Pool event. While we are here in the calendar of events, let's go through the rest of the week. There is a Sand Devil Turn Attack tournament going on right now. I don't find these particularly appealing, but if you are going to farm the Sand Devil at any point, usually you want to wait for one of these tournaments because you get extra value just by double dipping there. There is a Tag Arena tournament going on right now. I highly recommend you complete this. This is just free rewards. Tag Arena tournaments are so easy to complete and just get the maximum rewards on. You may as well always be doing this. This is also the same for any classic arena tournaments that you may see. Now, there is an artifact enhancement event that is finishing up right now that does have Primal Quartz available as part of the reward. So if you're interested in doing a little bit of regearing, this is a good time to do it. Remember, that event's going to end later tonight. There is also the Forge Pass, which is almost over. There are just a couple of days here. I just finished this Forge Pass today, so I have gotten my entire free-to-play reward track. And remember that you want to get all the way to the end because there are Instinct Forge materials, Legendary Instinct Forge materials on the last reward. So you want to make sure that you get those, because I think Instinct is actually a really great set. And this is only, I think, the second or third time we've ever had this set. So the more forged materials you can get, the better off you are. Now, the second thing that I wanted to talk about, the second big event that is going on this week, is this extra legendary event that is here from Tuesday through Thursday, probably early on Thursday. So it should just be 48 hours. Now, the extra legendary events are always fun. Basically, this is pull one, get one, right? So if you pull a legendary champion from, in this case, it doesn't say. So it may be from more than one type of shard, or maybe only from ancient shards. I'm pretty sure it's going to be ancient shards. So if you pull a legendary champion from an ancient shard, you get an additional second legendary absolutely free. It doesn't cost you a shard. It's just a bonus reward. Now, like I said, these are really fun. However, there is something that you want to consider, which is there should be a 2 times ancient shard event starting on Friday. So this weekend, you have 2 times the chance of an epic champion or a legendary champion from ancient shards. That's if the schedule goes according to plan. We know that that has been weird in the past, but it should be happening this Friday. Now, what that means is the extra legendary event is not quite as valuable as the 2 times event. It's a lot of fun. It's maybe more fun in some ways, but it's not as valuable, especially if you're in the mid game or you're looking for epic champion empowerment. So if you use a lot of epic champions, maybe you use Deacon and Geo and Whisper and Genbo in the arena and stuff. Like if you use a bunch of epic champions, you probably want to hold onto your shards for the 2 times event. Because remember, the 2 times event doubles your chance of legendary champions, but it also doubles your chance of epic champions. Whereas the extra legendary event kind of acts like a doubling of your legendary chances, right? Not quite, but sort of. So in the long run, I know it's hard to pass on these extra legendary events. You can certainly pull if you like to. I don't like to tell people how to game, but I would say in terms of value, especially for free-to-play player or low spenders, you may want to consider holding onto your shards until this weekend. And there is a third consideration, which is there will be a new July fusion that will probably start right at the beginning of the month. So I expect to hear that announcement this week. It may be Thursday or Friday. And then the fusion might start as early as maybe Sunday the 30th or July 1st. We'll have to see. I don't know exactly when that's going to happen. But a lot of times early in that cycle, you're going to have a summon rush, right? You're going to have a summon rush on a Monday or a Tuesday. And so you're going to want to have access to shards. So if you are saving up for your next fusion, you might want to consider passing on both the extra legendary event and maybe even the 2 times event this weekend. Again, you can assess your resources and whether or not you have enough shards to pull during some of these extra events. Okay, so now it is time to get to the reminders about the various timers in the game. As always, let's start with the clan timers. We do have clan quests ending in 11 hours. You can see I actually completed mine this week. I did really well with my reminders this week, despite being on holiday, or maybe because I was on holiday. I wanted to make sure I got those out of the way. Again, if you haven't picked up your quest, you still have 11 hours or so to pick up your clan quests and get those done. The clan shop as well will be resetting in 11 hours, so make sure you get your energy or your champion fragments, or if you have a legendary skill tome or something like that, go ahead and pick that up. Arena just reset last night, so you probably already picked up your rewards, but make sure to change your defenses, and don't forget to set your alarm or your schedule or your calendar to remind you to switch your defenses back later in the week on whatever day seems most appropriate to you. As always, on Monday, we have a day and a half left on the Hydra Clash and the Hydra Reset. So you want to make sure and start using your keys now, because remember, this takes time, right? You have to play these out. Sometimes you have to manual the fights. So don't forget to get your Hydra keys in. And as always, be aware of that 4-hour difference. In this case, it looks like 3-hour difference between the Hydra Clash Reset and the Hydra Key Reset. They don't happen at the exact same time. But, get those keys in there. You can see we're in 3rd position. I got to go and do my Hydra keys for this week. I think I've done 1 so far, but we'll have to do the other ones, and hopefully we can get a Hydra Clash result. There should be some changes coming to Hydra Clash in the near future, which may improve the rewards for everybody, which would be awesome, and we'll let you know when that gets announced. As far as the long timers are concerned, you can see the Cursed City is just about halfway through. We have 2 weeks and 1 day left. Make sure you're doing your keys. Did I do my keys yet today? I have not, so I have to make sure to get in here. one of the things that I like to do is as I kind of power through the hard nodes and I start to run into areas that I can't complete, I drop down to normal to continue to pick up resources. You want to use your keys every day. There are a ton of free resources here in the Cursed City. So even if you're not getting Amius, you do want to, pick up all of the additional energy, the silver, the oils, the dust, there's so much stuff in here that you can pick up and get value out of. So don't neglect your Cursed City. In Doom Tower, we are in a new rotation. We have over 3 weeks left. This is one of my least favorite rotations. I don't think there are any particularly good bosses to farm here in this rotation. So you can take a look at the forged materials and decide what you are interested in. I typically farm the Magma Dragon here because I think it's the Fatal set, gives you a little bit of extra crit rate, and just especially in the mid game gives you some flexibility. And again, it's not bad to get these forged materials because you can always forge them during a CVC to get you some CVC points, and also then just sell the pieces for silver. So it's a good way to get silver as well. So even when you're in a bad rotation like this, sometimes it's a good thing to just pick up those materials for other reasons. Here we are in the tournaments tabs, confirming that the Ice Golem tournament is going to be launching in just about 14 hours, and it is, in fact, only using Epic Champions. That shouldn't be too tricky, but maybe I'll put out a video on some good teams using only Epic Champions for that Ice Golem tournament. Let me know in the comments below if that's a video you would like to see, maybe tomorrow even though I will be traveling tomorrow, so I'd have to put that together tonight. But if enough people request that, I'll make sure to get that done before I leave to return home from Holland. Okay, that is it for this weekly plan video. I hope you like the new format. Let me know in the comments below if you think this format is better than the old format, if you would rather go back to a slightly shorter video that more focuses on just reminders, or if there's anything you'd like to see in the video that I haven't yet included. I'd like to hear those comments as well. Okay, that is it for me. Thanks so much for hanging out. I have been Colred, and I will see you in another video soon.